It's probably obvious by now, both Matt and I really like anime. We've watched numerous series like JoJo, Berserk, Irresponsible Captain Tyler, One Punch Man, and so many more. We could be here all day listing them. That doesn't even include the ones we've watched on our own time. And since our translation videos have been hitting it off pretty well, we figured let's combine our translations with our love of anime. And with the new Dragon Ball movie coming out soon, we figure it's as good as time as ever to tackle what's written on everyone's gis, and a little bit more. Now we're only going to be covering the original Dragon Ball, the Z Saga, and some of Super.
And quick note guys, there's a thing called Onyumi and Kunyumi in Japanese, and in Dragon Ball, being based on Journey to the West to an extent, some things use the Onyumi, the original Chinese reading, like with Mountain being San in Chinese and Yama in Japanese. Now, without further ado, let's start with the very first character, not Goku, but Yamcha. I'm just as surprised as you guys are. Poor Yamcha, always getting the shaft, except this time around. He's the first character to appear with kanji on his clothes, reading Raku or Gaku, meaning comfort or ease, and if you think there's some kind of deeper meaning to it, there isn't. Honestly, it's been stated that's all it is. I take back what I said. Poor Yamcha, getting shafted again. Now it's time to talk not about Goku again, but instead the first minor villain, Monster Carrot. He and all of his men have Usagi written on their clothes. If you watch some Sailor Moon, you might know that Usagi means rabbit, because, well, there's a Japanese folktale about there being a rabbit on the moon, and that's where Monster Carrot gets banished to once Goku beats him.
You know, I'm starting to think Japan hates the moon.
Explain. I'm curious.
Well, in Persona 3, the moon houses Nyx. Majora's Mask, the moon is going to crash into the Earth. Good in Logon, the moon is a giant evil mecha. And even in Dragon Ball, Roshi and then later Piccolo blow up the moon. You know, maybe this is a video for another time.
Agreed. Let's move on to Emperor Pilaf. And yes, his name does come from rice pilaf. So it's no surprise that his clothing says Chow Fon, which is Mandarin for fried rice. And finally, we get to cover our main man Goku. After being trained by Master Roshi, and right before they start the 21st World Martial Arts Tournament, Roshi gives Goku and Krillin their iconic gis.
Yeah, we've seen these worn so many times, and after all these years we can finally figure out what they mean. Kame, which means turtle.
Well, they did learn from the Turtle Hermit at the Turtle House.
Wait, his house has had turtle written on it all this time?
Yup, in Rojima.
Man, it's like how you learn how your favorite food is made. All the magic is lost.
Well, while speaking of turtles, I think it's only appropriate to bring up Goku's signature move, the Kamehameha.
Alright, time to find out about the most memorable move in DBZ. Let me have it, Matt. What does it mean?
It actually means nothing.
What?
It's gibberish when you write in hiragana, though if you put in the kanji, it could mean turtle destruction wave. Breaking things down, Kame is, well, turtle, and Hame, which might come from Hametsu, can mean ruin/destruction, and the last word ha means wave. So its full title in the dub would be Turtle Destruction Wave. Yeah.
All this time I thought it was this badass move with a badass name. And it's just Turtle Destruction Wave. Screw it, it's still pretty cool. Fun little fact though, it is derived from the Hawaiian king of the same name, and in their language it means the lonely one, but I have seen other translations of the very lonely one, or the one set apart. Which sounds kinda sad, but he did unite the Hawaiian Islands, so I guess he wasn't that lonely. Anyway, I think we spent enough time on that. Let's move on to the first real threat to Goku and his gang, Mercenary Tao. The first thing you'll notice is his outfit. That is a really ugly shade of pink. The second thing you'll notice is the kanji for kill or setsu. And on his back, I think you know what that means.
And from here we're going to move on to the Crane School starring Tien and Chaozu. Just like the Turtle School, Suru is written on their uniforms.
Although sometimes Chaozu wears an extremely similar outfit with gyo or dumpling written on it. Man, first we had fried rice, now we got dumplings. That's it, I'm hungry now. Matt, you talk about Tien, I'm grabbing a snack.
Well, in order to do that, that requires us to fast forward to Dragon Ball Super, where he now dons a new fighting outfit with 10 written on it. And if you remember from our Street Fighter 2 video, 10 means sky or heaven, but this could also be the first kanji in his Japanese name, Tenshinhan. Well, goodbye Tien, because it's time to roll way back into the past where we get to talk about Master Roshi's teacher, Master Mutaito, and blazing on his uniform is Buu.
Like Majin Buu?
No, that's not till much later. But Buu means martial arts, hence why Tenkaichi Budokai means number 1 under the Heaven's Martial Arts Tournament. Boy, that was a mouthful.
Once Goku finishes his training under Master Mutaito, he then sets his sights on King Piccolo, or Daimao Piccolo. If you're familiar with Legends of Localization, you know there is some liberty to be taken with Daimao, since not only limited lip flaps, but also the word itself doesn't translate too well into English. One of the potential translations is Great Demon King, which sums up King Piccolo. He's big, he's evil, and he's a king. Speaking of evil, the Ma in Daimao appears on his clothing, which means devil or evil spirit. Talk about wearing your personality on your sleeve. Except when Piccolo Jr. adds it to Gohan's training uniform. But what is a king to a god? Kami is Piccolo's good half, and as you can guess from our segue, Kami, which is what's written on his robes, means god. The same clothes that Dende will eventually wear in DBZ.
Oh, and Nick, don't forget about that Goku doll that Popo made. Nick? You alright?
Why did you have to remind me of that thing? Ugh.
Come forth, mighty Shenron. I wish for Nick to forget about the Goku doll.
Your wish has been fulfilled.
I also wish for the knowledge of what your name means. Ah! Shenron means God Dragon. Wow, it's almost like I didn't need a wish to figure that one out.
No.
Huh. I think there's a gap in my memory. Well, anyway, let's get to the next and last character for the original saga, the Ox King. This one is pretty straightforward. His hat just reads Gu, which is ox or cow. Easy peasy. Now let's do the time warp again and fast forward 5 years to get into the Z Saga. Right before Raditz arrives on Earth, we get introduced to little Gohan, wearing the family name of Sun. Pretty self-explanatory. After Goku dies, he is brought to King Yemma, based off of the god of the underworld, Enma, who judges the dead. The symbol for his name is written on his hat, as well as the plaque on his desk, reading Great King Enma. Goku then travels to King Kai's planet, where we finally get to meet the man, alien deity thing himself. His robes read a little stylized kanji for Boundary, or World King, which Goku gets on the back of his gi after being trained by him. Not for very long though. On his way to Namek, he eventually switches to Go, as in the first half of his name, meaning realize or enlightenment. King Kai also teaches Goku the Kaioken, which can translate into World King Fist. See, that's a cool name.
And future Gohan takes a page from his dad and puts part of his name on his gi, reading Han, which means meal or boiled rice.
Here we are talking about food again.
Hey, I'm not the one who named them, but let's go off on a big note here with the last character, Grand Kai. Nick, your go.
Alright, I know this one. We've covered it enough times in the past. Dai means large or grand. So, Grand World King. So yeah, that's the last one to cover. From Dragon Ball Z. We already did a few on Super, but there's still 2 more. The first being Grand Zeno. He wears a coat with Zen written twice, once right side up, and again upside down, which means all, though it can be a prefix for Omni, hence his title of the Omni King.
There's one last symbol to cover, and it's Whis' signature.
I think that's just his signature. I don't think it means anything.
You're absolutely right, it doesn't. But if you add a little triangle and use a little bit of imagination, it kinda looks like...
Right. So I think that about wraps up this video. There really isn't a whole lot to go over from Super, minus what we've already covered. So yeah, this was the first real anime-focused DuelScreens video. If you'd like to see us cover more anime-related stuff, let us know. We'll see what we can do. Tell us what you think down below, on Twitter and our other social media junk.
So until next time everyone, take care, and thank you so much for the support, and let's welcome in the new year with open arms.